I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
Y'all, the streets are talking, and they're saying that Hollywood's uncles are sweating bullets right now. Why? Because somebody out there is selling Diddy tapes. And honey, these tapes have got more tea than a Boston Harbor party. Now, let's break this down. A few days ago, we heard whispers about explicit videos linked to Diddy being leaked on the dark web. We're talking naked basketball games and all sorts of wild stuff. And get this, our boy Diddy is cooling his heels in a Brooklyn jail while all this is going down. Talk about bad timing.
Oh, I can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
Now let me spill some of this scalding hot tea for you. A lawyer for one of Diddy's accusers, Ariel Michelle, dropped a bombshell. She says she's been contacted about the sale of one of these Diddy tapes. But here's the kicker. This video allegedly features Diddy and someone even more high profile than he is. I mean, who could that be? The mind boggles. Michelle was talking about how she got a call a few weeks back from a new client. This person claimed Diddy assaulted her back in 2018, and she even filed a police report at the time. But wait, it gets worse. The client told Michelle that Diddy was planning to transport her across borders for, well, you can probably guess what. Yikes!
Due to the high-profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything, but she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
But hold on to your wigs, because there's more. Michelle dropped another bombshell. She said that these tapes are already being shopped around Hollywood like hotcakes. Someone even reached out to her about a particular video they had, asking if the person in it wanted to buy it before it went public. Can you believe the nerve? According to Michelle, this spicy recording was made in Diddy's Atlanta home. And here's the real tea. She doesn't think the other person knew they were being taped. Talk about a violation of privacy. But wait, there's more. Several sources are claiming that the feds have gotten their hands on an alleged freak-off tape. Apparently, a male worker who had direct contact with Diddy handed it over. This guy signed what's called a proffer agreement, which basically means he can spill the tea to the feds without worrying about getting prosecuted himself. Smart move, if you ask me. Now, let me break down what this guy told the feds. He said he flew from Atlanta to Miami in May 2023 to meet up with Diddy and a woman for a little menage a trois action. But here's the twist. Diddy allegedly filmed the whole thing. And guess what? This guy had a copy of the video and handed it right over to the feds. Talk about receipts. So, in case you had any doubts, these tapes are real, and they're not just on the dark web. They're being shopped around Hollywood like the latest designer handbag. Can you imagine how many people are sweating right now, wondering if they're in one of these videos? But hold on to your seats, because we're not done yet. Remember those naked basketball games we mentioned earlier? Well, guess who else allegedly hosted them? None other than Jamie Foxx.
What about those pictures that showed up?
What?
Didn't you have some pictures of you playing naked basketball or?
I know it wasn't that. We was on the beach or something. I don't know. It was young in my career.
Now, Jamie tried to play it cool, but honey, the internet never forgets. There used to be pictures of him playing naked basketball floating around, but they mysteriously vanished faster than my last paycheck. And get this, I swear there was even a post where Jamie apologized to his neighbors for these naked shenanigans. He was all like, sorry for the wrong I've done. Here's some gift baskets to make up for it. Can you imagine getting that apology basket? Sorry you saw my naked behind. Here's some muffins. But the tea doesn't stop there. Remember when DJ Envy asked Jamie about these games on The Breakfast Club? And let's not forget Wendy Williams spilling the tea about Tommy Davidson accusing Jamie of ripping off his underwear. Wendy said if it was true, it was probably because Jamie appreciates a high hard behind like the ones he saw during those naked basketball games. The shade of it all.
When I heard about the Jamie Foxx situation, I was literally like 7 years old. And a lot of you guys don't understand that I practically lived at radio stations with my mom. Like I was there 24/7. I was always at the radio station. So I got to hear adults talking about things because I was a fly on the wall at that point. So 7-year-old Crystal heard about these celebrity butt naked basketball games and I couldn't remember who he even was. I just remember thinking at that time, I was like, why do those men want to play basketball naked together? Like that's so silly, like they're funny. And it didn't dawn on me until I was like an adult that I was like, oh. And just to be clear, that this was not a judgment on Jamie Foxx at all. He was vocal about it and he didn't mind telling people. This was in the 90s.
Now, this TikToker spilled some major tea about these games. She even dropped hints about who else might have been playing. She mentioned someone married to a lady who likes lemonade and made buzzing sounds. I mean, unless Beyonce and Jay-Z have some lookalikes out there, I think we all know who she's talking about. But hold on to your wigs because the tea gets even hotter. These naked basketball games were allegedly part of a secret club Diddy created to promote self-love among his male friends and guests. And of course, our boy Diddy recorded everything because why wouldn't you want a permanent record of your naked basketball skills, right? Now let's talk about some of the other uncles who might be sweating right now. First up, Will Smith.
Young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
I mean, we were already shook when we heard Diddy was cool with Will sleeping with Kim Porter when she was 9 months pregnant. But now, word on the street is that Uncle Will is on those freak-off tapes too. And guess where Uncle Will would take his parties when he wasn't at his place or Diddy's? To Uncle Dwayne Wade's house. Speaking of Dwayne Wade, his former business partner, Baron Richard Hallman, spilled some major tea. He said Dwayne had this whole good guy, father of the year image, but behind closed doors, it was a different story. Richard claims Dwayne used an apartment to host adult, mostly gay parties during his marriage. Talk about living a double life. And let's not forget what Jaguar Wright had to say about what goes down at the White House.
They ain't doing as much, I guess, now because they're getting older. I guess it just moved over to the Wade house.
Energy transfers.
And I'm not saying that because of their trans daughter. I'm saying that because of the artist that I just spoke to not that long ago that got invited to a party at their house. Everything was cool up front till they went to the back and there was a bunch of old niggas and young boys back there all naked in the Wade house. So I find it funny that Gabrielle's sitting there talking about boots.
Damn Jaguar, she's always coming in hot with that tea, cutting deeper than a surgeon's scalpel. Now there are a bunch of other uncles who people are expecting to see in these leaked tapes. Stevie J, for one. I mean, he's been defending Diddy left and right, so would anyone really be surprised? But here's a name that might shock you, Tyler Perry. Remember when Christian Keys was exposing a powerful person who bragged about having young black men on his payroll? A lot of people speculated he was talking about Tyler Perry. Well, buckle up, because Uncle Perry is allegedly on those tapes too. And hold on to your wigs, because here's a name nobody saw coming: Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, that Leonardo DiCaprio. We all know about his, let's say, particular dating habits, but now people are saying there's no way he's not on those leaked tapes. Talk about a plot twist. Now, I'm sure a lot of these folks are moving heaven and earth to get their hands on these tapes before they start making the rounds. But honey, we're talking about tapes from way back in the 2000s. There's no way they're going to catch them all. And get this, Jaguar Wright claims that Diddy himself was selling these videos on the dark web for a cool $500 million. She's saying these tapes feature big names like Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and Drake. I mean, can you even imagine? Now, I know some of y'all might be skeptical about what Jaguar or Gene Deal are saying, but even if you don't believe them, you've got to believe that these tapes exist and are probably being shopped around as we speak. Personally, I don't think we can even begin to guess all the names that might pop up in these tapes. We're talking about 30 years of footage here. But you best believe I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see what comes out next. So, what do y'all think about these tapes being shopped around? Who do you think is on them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more piping hot tea. This is Sophie Scoop signing off. Stay fabulous, my loves. Fabulous.